convinced in the fiscal space that if 80 to 85% of what we have in the proposed bills are implemented and we maintain or sustain the minimum, we call it minimum wage, but apparently it's just minimum salary of 70,000 that we have, seems everybody has agreed to, public and private sector. And importantly, which I think some of those clips we are also driving at, we are able to achieve something close to the PPP, purchasing power parity rate of the Naira. Then, within the next 12 to 18 months in this country, nothing less than 25 million people will be lifted out of poverty. And it's the number that we have worked, and we can see it, and it's something that is doable, but it needs a lot of effort and what I can call, we need a lot of support from the Bankers Committee, because and that's where my proposal starts from. Way back in mid-2023, we made some submission to people in government, and we thought we saw a slight implementation of that thing in February 2024, but it's not. I still don't know why today the CBN, the bankers, and other financial operators are still, in this day and age, allowing and facilitating US dollar cash transaction in this country. It doesn't make sense. Anybody that wants to do it should be able to do electronic transaction in dollars. I don't understand it. Because BDCs or whatever, it just doesn't make sense.
The Aliko Dangote, and he really restated that you can't make profit that is worthwhile when you are giving us a credit at 5%. It can't work properly. Two things, so many things we need to change to achieve what you have said. Number one, you need to look at the infrastructure, and in particular, the power, the energy. By our own research and work and data collected, in 2024, manufacturers spent about 1.2 trillion naira. It usually represents between 30 to 40% of the cost of production. Very good. The fund we use to pay for this power is to be paid at 35% circa. I know some of bankers charge 37 at the point, some 32, and depends on the volume and things. So if you take, and we spent about 1.3 trillion naira paying for cost of funds in 2024. So you can see there are the two larger things. We have not spoken about our raw materials. We have not talked about NENs. So it is just very apt to think here that what do we do? And few things we can do, mentioned by him, and I'll just highlight one or two things. Have we thought of getting a long-term fund for the manufacturers or business operators? Have we thought outside the box of not just taking deposit or some funds and look for special funds that fund real production business at a cheaper rate? Can we think something like that? Can we think it out? Can we take out of the money we make, either by donation or by saying, let us aggregate what will have made donation and make little profit out of it? Donate it to a force and use to fund backward integration. Can we talk to RDC, Research and Development, and say, hey, what have you found out so far? Is it marketable? What's our impediments that doesn't make you get it to the market? That can change the dynamics. Can we fund it? We have the power to do so many things. We have the power.
Every country in the world receives foreign direct investment, get FX into the country to FDI, FPI, trading goods, trading services, remittances, and others. There's something I discovered about our country, and it's good CBN is here. I feel rather than what someone called the tyranny of the all, we should engage the genius of the hand. What I mean by that is, most of the time when we make a lot of policy, which is why this kind of program was recommended. Let's put our hands together for Bankers Committee, by the way. Because we talk a lot about foreign direct investment and foreign portfolio investment, because this money can come in early. But we don't talk a lot about trading goods and trading services. By the way, trading goods and services is about 33 trillion, according to United Nations Trade Department. 33 trillion. And about 7 trillion of that is services. That means 26 trillion is trading goods. So meaning, and do you know the interesting about this? We don't have control over foreign direct investment. We don't have control over foreign portfolio. We don't have control over remittances. Someone will have to decide that they are going to send that money to Nigeria, right? But we have control over what? Trading goods and what? Because we decide that we want to trade. We decide that we want to trade, meaning we can actually grow trade in Nigeria by doing a lot within the trading goods and trading services. So, and now, if we are trying to do trading goods and trading services, but before then, look at the next slide. Have you seen the decline? This is foreign direct FDI inflow, capital inflow into Nigeria, capital inflow, both foreign direct and foreign portfolio investment. Have you seen the decline over time? Because of a lot of, it's about perception of our economy. Now, I'm sure Otumba will be happy to see this. Look at the total market. This is 2015, right? 2015. And it has not changed largely. Total trade in the world at that time, remember total trade now is about what? Trading goods about what? I mentioned it just now. 26 trillion. Total trade in the world is what? 33 trillion. At that time, it was about 18 trillion. Look at manufactured goods. So who are those making money in trade in the world? Who are those making money? That's why we can't stay with agric. We can't stay with fuel, which we can't say we're not going to do anything about it. We can continue, but we need to focus a lot on what? Production and manufacturing and value addition. But more importantly is the next statistics I want to show you. More importantly, look at this. You notice something about this. You can see primary product, intermediate product, consumer, and capital. Then you see here agric, natural resources, and manufacturing. Manufacturing there represent intermediate, consumer goods, and capital. What you discover is that because of the challenges, because of the drive towards sustainability in the world, sustainability drive about the environment, there's a lot of talks around the impact of manufacturing on the environment. So the developed countries do not want to bring primary commodity to their country again, most of them. So, but add value in your country, but not to finished goods. To what? Intermediate. So that means from cocoa to cocoa butter, not chocolate. From shea to shea butter, from lead to lead ingot. And that's why you can see that intermediate product has been on the rise, which is still good for us because then we are still adding value and creating jobs rather than doing the commodity, just sending it out. And you can see it there also. So if we're talking about sustainability, if we're talking about value addition, it's also important that if we really want to grow FX inflow, then we need to be strategic on the product that is of interest to us. We don't necessarily have to make it finish. We can also consider the intermediate goods because that's where the demand actually lies.